Okay, I want to do a video. This one is going to be on swirlers, divestors, and some assumptions made. Some people always like to associate, that swirlers and divestors, that we worship whiteness and things of that nature. Now, what I wanted to complain about on this was something that I feel is related to this, but not really understood as well. You see, from my experience in racially dating, it's always been like with white men. I mean, personally, I don't worship whiteness of any kind. But it's almost like, from my experience with white men, like, they're just white and it's like, that's their norm. It's nothing like, you know, anything. I mean, like, I would feel odd if they wanted, like, to be, like, appreciated for that, because usually, from my experience, it's just, like, a part of who they are. Just like it's a part of me being black, for example. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm black. It's not like something new. You know what I mean? Um, it's not something that they struggle with. They're just naturally that way. Um, and I point this out because I've had experiences like that, like people describe with like worshiping whiteness and things of that nature, with men who weren't white. But men who were white, not really. Like, for example, I've seen how like people who weren't white would wish they were appreciated or attracted to as if they were white. I've seen that honestly with people who I wasn't even dating. For example, my ex roommate, who's a female. Um, she'd always try and like want black men to like her like she was a white girl, even though she was mixed race. She was mixed. She said she had African and Mexican in her heritage, but she was very white passing. She's the one I talked about her in my roommate video. If anyone wants to look at that. But yeah, she would always want people to prefer her as a white girl, kind of like to as a badge of honor kind of thing of being white, things of that nature. I've seen that with men who are mixed race, but I've never seen that with men who are white. To me, I feel like white people kind of like associate their whiteness as just a part of them, really. Like, I mean, you don't need to really be validated that you're white when you are white. You know what I mean? It's not like people who are mixed sometimes do need that validation, um, and they feel insecure about it, to some extent. And people I'm talking about, they may not even be mixed with black. I'm not specifically saying people who are mixed with black are that way. I'm just saying that people who are mixed that I've experienced, like as far as dating, there have been times, like one time, I was dating this one guy, and he was, um, some people might try and say that the person was. People have weird ideas of what they consider white, but what I'm saying is someone who is not supposed to be white, basically. Like, they're mixed, their family's mixed, they might come from a Spanish background, blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying. Um, so I mean, like, in those cases, I would experience like people want to be like they act like being white was a plus or something, or looking white was a plus. I've never actually experienced a white person acting that way. Usually it's just kind of like on individuals' personalities, or even if it's not even on that level, if it's just on the fact of finding the person attractive, it's not on a racial basis. It's just on an individual basis, really, from my experience. So I just don't understand why people always say like that. Well, if you're a swirl or you're worshiping whiteness. I've always experienced it seemed like more with like people who are mixed race that was more pushed in my experience than white people, because usually they have already a confidence in being white, so that's not really something that they are struggling with. You know what I mean? If you're struggling with whiteness, then of course you want to be affirmed to be white and celebrate it to be white because you aren't really white and you kind of have this kind of wish to be white kind of thing. Um, I had that happen one case, and then another case was similar to that to many levels, you know. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know. From my experience, I generally prefer white men. That's just me. Because every time I would like date a guy who was like not white, even when they wanted to be Americanized, for example, because the two cases I'm talking about, they were Hispanic descent. One, I would say he was pretty Americanized, I guess you could say. Um, I guess. There's nothing really specific that seemed to stand out that he was specifically of Puerto Rican descent. I remember, but the other one was definitely so like, yeah. Even though they wanted to be whiter, they were still like embracing like Mexican food and all this other stuff to their heritage and stuff. And I don't know. To me, it's just like I like, I prefer men who are more relatable to me, and culturally, white American men are more like relatable. And not even like men who are like white but foreign. Obviously, I don't find them very relatable either. So it's not a racial thing; it's more a cultural thing for me when it comes to white men because oh, but I just noticed I misspelled something. I need to redo it. But anyway, yeah, it's not a racial thing. It's a cultural thing for me. And I don't know, it just seems like they're more relatable when it comes to that. But it's just like, I kind of find it really like, people always assume like if you're with white person, white woman, or white man for that matter, that they want like that they would embrace their whiteness. To me, I think it's more of an individual basis situation than actually like embracing someone's whiteness. Like there's more to that individual than their skin tone, you know. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say. So thanks for listening. Bye.